The Board of Supervisors in San Francisco is close to a vote that will apparently change a policy and make it possible for the police department of San Francisco to arm robots with lethal weapons, which is a cool premise for a movie, not so much for an actual city that real people need to live and function in. So let's give you a little bit of this information. The law enforcement equipment policy of San Fran. The robots listed in this section shall not be utilized outside of training and simulations, it begins. And so you start off that paragraph thinking, oh good, okay, training and simulations, it's limited, we don't have to worry. But then you might notice the paragraph continues and it says criminal apprehensions. Well, that's worrisome. So you mean out in the field around people, okay. Critical incidents, well that's vague. Exigent circumstances, that's just all of them. Executing a warrant or during suspicious device assessments. Robots will only be used as a deadly force option when risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent and outweighs any other force option available to SFPD. Okay, so the circumstances that you can use them in seems to me, an outsider and a non-expert, to include literally every circumstance. But you'll only do it when you might be worried about cops being hurt, which based on my experience viewing law enforcement in America is every second of every day in every circumstance. They're constantly terrified of being killed. There might be a robot behind me right now. Anyway, the Electronic Frontier Foundation points out that this is incredibly broad language, which it is. Police could bring armed robots to every arrest and every execution of a warrant to search a house or a vehicle or a device, depending on how police choose to define the words critical or exigent. Police might even bring armed robots to a protest. So yeah, a lot of people very worried about this. People in our chat are saying Skynet became self-aware November 30th, 2022. We have had some robot assistants to cops being used in some cities for a few years now. How quickly we got to, well, in some cases, they're gonna have to be able to use lethal force. JR, what do you think?
Yeah, this is one of those things, man. When it comes from folks in this position, police officers who, as you pointed out, are quick to the trigger because of their fears. My life is in danger. My life is in danger. When many of those cases, their life isn't in danger, but they assume the person that they're approaching is just generally a killer because of what their perception is. So at least in this case, in robots, you would think, and maybe they're gonna try and pitch it this way: we no longer feel that our lives are in danger, so therefore we can't use lethal force. So why do you have to equip them with lethal force if you don't need to? If there's no lives in danger, because you can't kill a robot, mechanical, why do we still need to kill then? As you approach people in these normal situations of police work, it's changing from how much police officers fear for their lives to how much they need to kill someone because they're just a bad guy. We're starting to eliminate the second level of our judicial system, which is you make the charges, he goes to a free and speedy trial. Fair, and then we adjudicate that we come to that conclusion from a jury of their peers.
Yeah.
We continue to keep seeing executions by cops, and the excuse is they're afraid. If we eliminate the fear, they still want to kill because they don't like bad guys that they've determined are bad guys. It all goes back to their determination and what they feel. If we're trying to save lives, why do we have guns on them? These questions just have to be asked. They're right in front of us.
Yeah, I'm really worried about that. A lot of people are talking about like precedents in TV and movies, and it reminds me. I was watching a movie, and there was a cop in the movie, and then I found out in that movie that a robot could kill a cop, and robots are cool people. So no, but this is real. Like I understand in this case, there's a fairly direct line from popular culture to this. There are reasons to be worried. People are very worried. The reaction to this news coming out has been very negative. And to reassure people, the San Francisco police have come out with a clarifying statement. Here's what that statement says. They're not gonna arm the robots with guns. Instead, they'll be equipped with explosives. Is that better? Is that it's better? So instead of it shooting someone, it just explodes. I am going to assume that what they mean is they will have bombs for the disposal of explosives, because I know sometimes they will explode an explosive to have it be more controlled or whatever. But then what do you mean that the robots are lethal? You said that was the change in the policy. Now, We have a little bit more from a spokesperson, Allison Maxie, who says, the SFPD does not own or operate robots outfitted with lethal force options, and the department has no plan to outfit robots with any type of firearm. As an intermediate force option, robots could potentially be equipped with explosive charges to breach fortified structures containing violent, armed, or dangerous subjects, or used to contact, incapacitate, or disorient violent, armed, or dangerous suspect who pose a risk of loss of life to law enforcement or other first responders by use of any other method, approach, or contact. So breaching robots, I guess. They also imply there, am I crazy? Are they implying that those robots are gonna be launching grenades? Stun grenades, flash grenades, concussive grenades. Because how else are they disorienting them? With their robotic dance moves?
The strobe light.
Yeah, and so if we're worried that they're going to be using guns, can we also be worried about robots being responsible for launching explosive devices into places they may not have perfect information about? Anyway, and again, like they said we want it to be lethal. Now they're claiming it won't be lethal. By the way, those non-lethal grenades can be lethal. They have killed people with those in the past. So hopefully the pushback is strong and sustained, because this is something they want to do. Anyway,
they have no plans to do this, but they left the door open just enough. They said, we have no plans to do it, but we may have plans later to do it. Just stay tuned. They say it blatantly.
Yeah, and by the way, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. The cops are constantly terrified of being hurt. If they can put a gun on a robot, they're gonna do it. This is going to be a thing we're gonna be checking back in over the next 10 years or so. The thing limiting this is not cops not choosing to do it. It's that they just don't have good enough robots yet, but that's being worked on. When the robots are good enough, they're going to put guns on them, guarantee it.
We've seen other videos of cops working out with their new equipment, the military equipment. There was like a netting thing that they were demonstrating before, and like, this is so cool. They're just guys that like this cool gadgets and equipment they get to use on other people.
Yeah, and I get it. I want that stuff too, but I don't think we should be putting on robots and then putting them in charge.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.